The broadcast is live, according to the little thing that popped up on the screen. So I think that means we're good to go here. Get things out of the way. I barely made it here on time. Barely. Let's see. That goes away. This goes away. All this goes this way. So we should be able to do, whoops, not that button. That button. And we can exit this. Yeah, I was last minute on everything today. Don't save. All right. Welcome to Tom being unprepared for a live show Thursday. So close. I was running on the edge to get here, but I had reasons. I had things I was doing and stuff that was going on and everything else. And so I wasn't even sure if I was going to be back before 5. So I literally got in and made the live stream thing. So I lost the cursor. When you have this much screen real estate and then you're spreading it across a couple computers, you end up with losing your mouse a lot. So we can always start with silly things that we've been printing for 3D printing. I don't do any 3D printing videos because I'm not very good at it. I have employees that are, and so I just buy printer stuff. I'm like, order it because it's fun to play with. And then occasionally, where did the other one go? I don't know why they make some of the things they make, but this one's pretty cool. You can just there we go. That one looks way cooler right there. 3D printed virus, bacteriophage specifically. This is you're looking at bacteria here. Can we get it a little closer? I believe these are bacteria. I don't know. I'm into technology. Not much is in bioscience is not my specialty. Although the last 2 years, so many people on Facebook are bioscience experts. It's amazing. I didn't know this many people were experts. Well, that's not what we're here to talk about. And what was giving me this a message? You're like, here, Tom. Yes, for sure. So that's definitely funny. All right. How comfy is this chair? Nothing special. I bought it because it was on sale, not because I thought it was an amazing chair. It's on sale at Office Max. It's like if you go to officemax.com, type in gaming chair, and you'll go, that seems like too much. It was at $179. I thought that was too much. It was on sale for like $99, so I bought it. I think it was on clearance. So I don't have a really great reason for buying it. I didn't do a lot of research on chairs. So nonetheless. How do I pick a power supply? I have no idea. I don't really build computers. I haven't built computers really myself in years. So I don't know. I know there's a ton of YouTube channels that talk about building computers. I talk more about servers and things like that. So not really my thing. Oh, you like the job site videos in the past? Well, you're in luck because that's why time was late is job site. Let me see if we can pull up some job site today because that's why I was filming. The problem with doing the job site videos, the real challenge with them is they take a whole lot of time. It's a time sink to do them. That's the huge thing about these type of videos. And let me switch cameras. I don't even have my camera 2 on. We'll turn it on because we want to show what I was doing. Starts with me taking selfies. Hey, it's me, and then there's me. But we were in Hamtramck. That's a suburb of Detroit, essentially. And Hamtramck is where we're at. This is where we're doing another project. So, yeah, that's let's see. Can I share it by sharing a tab? Would that be better? Share screen, Chrome tab. There we go. And this is what we're assembling this is in a broadcast booth. So I was there filming. This is part of a broadcast booth where all this will be. This is me looking out over the field and everything else. This is a cool project we're working on here. And where's it at? Yeah, there's the putting up all that conduit. And that's what the picture is in there is a picture of all the conduit. And matter of fact, let's see, we'll go ahead and remove, find the next set of pictures. Oh, yeah. Actually, this is what people can laugh about. There's proof that Tom does work. I'm the one that unloaded the truck. So you can watch it and then watch one of the guys. He's gonna whack into the camera and knock it over because that's what happens. Nope, there we go. Knocked over the camera. See, this is why on-site stuff's so much harder to do. One, you got dropped cameras. You got to put all this together. You have to go there to film all of it. So this is a film in progress. These are just some clips, putting it together and stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be pretty cool for project-wise for getting all this done. So I should probably switch to different cameras when I'm doing this because I should look at you over here while you guys watch us unload things. And that's how you unload a truck. All right, back over to here. Well, technically, I keep looking over here. There's all the writings over here. All right, now lost the mouse again. There it is. Do you need a static address and your NAS for them to show up in settings? The default address is shown when I go to change settings. I don't understand the question. I would highly recommend for a NAS device, either using DHCP reservations or setting a static IP because you want your NAS device to be at the same place all the time. So yes. What if there's companies that hire Linux admins, also have experience when working at Heights, Pro Audio Video Customer Service, and equipment operations? I don't know. People hire for everything. Hey, we have Riley Chase in the house. So, and for those you don't know, Riley's taken on a new adventure. He's gotten into some the consulting side of UniFi and offering management services and things like that. So HostiFi is getting better. Riley Chase has been on my channel a few times. We've talked about HostiFi. If you're looking for someone to host your UniFi controller, and it's primarily targeted at businesses and things like that. But if you want to use it, you can use it for your personal stuff as well. But yeah, it's a great service. Yeah, Cody knows because he's done a few of them. Love on-site videos, but they take so much work. The time it takes to put them all together, compile all the video, assemble it, go out to the job site often many times. Yeah, it's one of the reasons there's not as many of them. They're a bigger production to do. Hello from Switzerland. All right. I see. I'm rolling back to there. Riley said hi up here. I think I got everybody. Hello from the land down under. I always like when people are from other countries. We got Australia and the UK all the way up here at the top. So that's awesome. I heard things are flooding down there in Australia. So that's I seen that on there. Alabama. That's the land down under for here. That's the southern part of the United States. For those of you don't know, we're in the Detroit area, so Michigan here. Actually, me and Riley both are from Michigan. And then Cody from Mac Telecom Networks is above us further, so he's in the land of the north. Canada. Speaking of IP addresses, do you find it better to do static IPs for the machine or MAC address bind in the DHCP server? I actually reserve everything. I go through my system and set up reservations for all the things. I'm huge on that. And the reason why is really simple. When I have to recalibrate my network for whatever reason, I have all the MAC addresses already listed. And because you can do this between PF-Sense systems, and we actually do this for clients, we'll set up a camera system. And if they already have a PF-Sense, which is frequently if they're our client, we'll build a DHCP reservation, export it, and we can just import it at the client site. And it's nice because when everything's already reserved and labeled and named, whenever you have to swap something out, anything outside of that range got added to the network afterwards. And I'll use camera networks as an example for this. So we look at where it lands outside the network, but most of the time, and we have a few school districts, we have the MAC address ahead of time. So we go in their DHCP server before going out to the client, and we pre-reserve where that camera is going to go. So there's no question when that camera comes on, it's going to be at this IP address. But the same thing goes for everything else. I love just setting everything as a reserve. That way, if I ever have to re-engineer a network or rechange things, I just got to go through and do a search and replace in the DHCP table for whatever different IP range I want all those devices to be moved to. It was actually, we had a client that, well, somewhere along the lines, and before they were our client, someone thought, let's take this because we're going to have so many devices and make it a /22 instead of subnetting it, because that was the solution. Good news is many things were DHCP reserved, but just increasing the scope of the network was not the great idea. So when we had to decrease it and re-break it out into a series of subnets, it was actually really nice just going through groups of DHCP reservations and shuffling them in pfSense to the more logical places they should be in different subnets. So I'm huge on setting reservations rather than static IPs. But some people will say, well, set it all static. I don't know. It just seems like a lot more work. All the way from Israel. Awesome. Yeah, bad floods in Eastern Australia. I was listening to Patrick Gray with Risky Business. He had mentioned that caused a delay. I guess he's in one of those unfortunate areas. Alberta, Canada. Scotland. What's your experience of crypto cards and pfSense to speed up VPN? I don't have any testing I've done with the crypto cards to speed up VPN. So I haven't done any testing. Some people have. Checked their forums. Denmark. Ooh, New Zealand. My friend just moved back from New Zealand. He lived there for a couple of years working on a large project. Very interesting person. Maybe one day I'll have him on the channel. He's just super cool. And he's done a couple cool things. He worked for Google. He works for Cisco. He worked for some big name companies. He's just genuinely interesting. He did some really cool stuff working for Google, really cool stuff now. I think he's back at Cisco again. I think he also worked for Amazon. He's bounced around some big companies, so he's got stories to tell. Flooding, yes, has increased my workload to supply my clients that have been in a flood. Yeah, I imagine you got to do a lot of work to get in there, so that sucks. Yeah, I'd seen pictures. When I seen Patrick Gray from Risky Business, he does the I think it's risky.biz podcast. I think it's the URL for it. Risky Business Podcast, nonetheless. I've seen that he posts about it, and I Googled it. I'm like, wow, that's really tragic there. Static sucks when you have to make changes, reservations all day. Yeah. Wales. Awesome. Do you do any door access work? Nope. We really don't. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about my friend from New Zealand. He is, I don't want to disclose anything until I get his permission, but he worked on building call centers at some of these big companies. He's got some brilliant, I always enjoy talking to him, just having a beer with him. But genuinely interesting. He's also been on podcasts and things like that. I don't know how much he reveals about himself. So I always, because I know so much from having conversations, I'm always very careful and make sure I have implicit permission for people to give any of their details, because maybe they don't want things to know. But nonetheless, super interesting. And I would probably should get him on just to talk about what it's like to build a call center at a company the size of any of the companies I mentioned. That's one of his specialties, is designing the flow and everything for the call stuff. He's not he's not coding it. It's part of the architecting more so than coding. Are we ready to stick to the modern UI and UniFi controller? Is there still stuff in the old? Riley mentioned something to me that was in the old still. Maybe he'll chime in there. Here we go. New UI is getting pretty good. More stuff seems to be working well. And if Riley wants to go ahead and expand on that, there's something else that you had said. I was driving when you tweeted at me to tell me what it was. I'm gonna look in my notes here. Data retention settings are back. New interface is good. And previously the site import was only an interface, so now you can do site import as well. So that's great. It's actually saying that they brought back a couple good things from old UI to the new UI, like site import. Yeah, that's the one right there. Kind of more like PBX type design work. Yeah, I'll see if he's interested in doing a video. I don't know how much, because when you work for those large companies, there's a reason those people don't always do interviews. They often are handed a lot of legal things they sign not to talk about how they do something. So I got to find out, I know what he does to an extent, but obviously what you can publicly talk about is going to be a matter of, I don't know what contracts he may have signed. So, but yeah, interesting stuff nonetheless. Speaking of interesting things, we're just going to bounce around today because, let's get this out of the way because I have it in the title. When I have something in the title, I try to get it out of the way right away. And I did a video on Signal and is Signal secure? Obviously it is. Obviously a lot of people have a lot of questions about it. Yeah, not being able to talk about the cool stuff you do and work on is the worst. Yes. If you go back to the videos I did, if you go to my YouTube channel and we type in we'll share this. I mean, I would love to tell you what's under that tape right there, because it's a cool customer that we got. But this customer immediately said, yes, we would like to buy some petabyte storage servers from you. Also, can you not put us on YouTube? And it's a massive company. Obviously, a company that is buying multiple petabytes of storage has a lot of data and a lot of stuff to do. But yeah, that's one of the problems sometimes, is not being able to talk about things. So yes, I feel it, Riley. And I'm sure Riley, he knows the names of customers, and he would probably love to brag going, we landed so-and-so who hosts all of their equipment here, but they don't want that broadcast. So yeah, I only see Wi-Fi insights on the new UI. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's only, I think they're making it pretty clear that they're going to just be doing things on the new UI. That's where they're going with it. So crypto cards for speeding up performance of TrueNAS. It is technically viable as per encryption of data. I don't know if the drivers that control it, if you're talking about like the encryption on the way they encrypt the drives themselves outside of what's in the processor. I mean, it's a twofold thing. You have to have, like, QAT crypto is an example, but you have to have the libraries to support it, and then it has to have support in the application that you're using. I don't know if ZFS has any specific crypto accelerator cards that are supported. I never looked into it. I'm not saying it does or doesn't. I'm just saying I haven't looked into it. Let's see. What else do we have in there? Anyways, back over to Signal. It is kind of just related to, there was a disinformation campaign, which doesn't surprise anyone because there was such an uptick in Signal users because of the current events going on in Ukraine. And yeah, it's just kind of as expected. There's going to be a level of disinformation because it is not in the best interest of governments that are trying to spy on certain people, or governments spying on other people to belonging to other countries for them to use more secure ways of communication. So the Signal protocol is open, it's vetted by security researchers, and I absolutely knew the you can't trust anything people would be the ones commenting on that YouTube video, but I expect that. There's always been a long-standing rule of mine is never reply twice to people that are clearly a little unwound. And it just isn't worth it. It's not an engaging conversation. And some people are like, you can trust nothing. You can't trust any type of phone. You can't trust any electronics. I'm like, then what are you doing on YouTube? What are you doing commenting on my YouTube if you can't trust anything or just don't post anything personal? I mean, look, we know that some level, if you did not, grind the sand that produced the chip and then write the code for the chip and architect it and then write the operating system and didn't do all of this yourself, yeah, at some point along the way, you trusted some outsiders. There is a level of reasonable trust. And then there's the, people who just say, you can't trust anything, no matter what I say, that's what they're going to reply with. I mean, I'm not bothered by them. They're not an anomaly. They're an absolute predicted. If you do a video talking about Signal, that yes, it is secure, that immediately the no, it isn't people will start commenting. But I'm a huge fan of Signal Messenger. I like where they've been with the product. My minor complaint is their lack of tablet support. I don't know why they don't support, because they work on Android and iOS. They work on Linux and Windows for apps, but you can't use it on a tablet. They just decided not to. I don't know why. I got nothing on that one. As long as you don't pull Windows and change interface, you lose some functionality. Oh, try to find a back way to get the UI back. Yeah. Tom, the tablet user, not much of a tablet user. I kind of like that. I only have a tablet, and it's this tablet. This tablet actually, most of the time, this is what this tablet's for. We got a little kickstand on it. We got a little keyboard for it. And we type scripts on it. So if we look, this is Parrot. This is how, if I have to sound smart but read things, this is how I write my scripts. But I also sometimes just use this upstairs while I'm having lunch and reply to people because I have my email tied to this too. So yeah, it works. It gets the job done. It's an Android tablet. It's also a Chromebook. So one of those Lenovo. Someone's going to ask me the model number, so let me look it up because I already forgot. Chromebook Duet. They're not particularly expensive, and they work quite well. So for those of you wondering what kind of tablet it is, it's that. Hey, look, last purchased December 3rd because I actually ended up getting two of them. $200. They're cheap. They get the job done. They actually work really well for a lot of what I use them for. Lightweight and the keyboard detaches. So my big recommendation is this right here. Works quite well. So I'll remove that. Let's see. If you have a keyboard, it's different. Yes. You would not imagine me typing on a touchscreen because it would not happen. Do you think UniFi Network will ever get support for Openvpn WireGuard for clients and using them on specific networks? Maybe. I don't know what drives them. I am always confused. The ability is there because people have added it from like third parties. Have put in extra functionality. The hardware is capable of doing more than the software written by UniFi allows it to do. Now, why? I don't know. UniFi makes weird decisions. UniFi was in the market for hosting their software, then got out of the market for hosting it, leaving people in a lurch, and then got back into it. There's just weirdness that drives them. Like, I think it's cool they do some of these augmented reality things, but no one asked for a new UI. Wasn't like something we were complaining about with the old UI, but a lot of resources went to write a new UI when honestly a better VPN was definitely a way more requested feature. So why did so much work go into things people didn't ask for, but less effort went in there? So they have a roadmap that is only visible to them. And so I don't know when. I mean, someone said that they actually said it was going to happen. Or as Riley says, if the past is any indication of the future, it will never happen. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. This is something I don't understand. The only problem with Signal is when is link new devices, it does not copy the message history. You have message history? That's the part I don't get. To me, and anyone who's in I don't know if Riley's messaged me on Signal or not. I can't remember if Riley has my cell phone number or not. But most of my friends, and there may be even some of them are on here right now that know me. If you say hi to me on Signal, the next thing you'll notice is Tom set messages to expire, and it's usually 7 days. It might be sooner. I don't want a message history. I think we keep too much data, and especially the things I put in Signal, I don't necessarily think they need to have a history. Maybe I'm weird. We have a Signal group chat at work. It's set to 24 hours. Whenever we have to send something that might be somewhat confidential over Signal, we usually set it to expire in 30 minutes to an hour. We keep it very, very sparse. I don't want a message history for most things. If something goes through Signal that needs to go somewhere, I will copy it and put it somewhere in a more permanent place. But I'm fine with them not having message history. One of the UI staff said in the comments they are adding WireGuard, but that may be for UID. Yeah. So, and by the way, this is kind of a weird thing. Like I applied a while ago for the UID and it's still invite only and I didn't get my invite. I don't think they like me. So I applied, I think I've applied twice for it now and I still haven't seen an email come through. So I don't know. The UID thing, I'm mixed. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. Do I trust them? Well, if they had a roadmap and a plan, I would probably trust them better. But without a true roadmap and plan, how am I supposed to say, yes, I should switch everybody to this? Well, does it have a future? Does it have a long future that will make me think that we should keep using it? Let's see. Just do. All right. Make sure it's not important. So nonetheless, yeah. Maybe UniFi are making more for the home user market, so making decisions that make market happy because pro users will either edit the configs or CLI. No, pro users will not. The MSP market will not edit the CLI. Trust me. Trust me and talk to Riley. How often does the pro market want to spend time hacking away at it? That's a home users that spend time hacking away to add features to a dream machine. The business market doesn't. Most of the business and MSPs are more like me that don't bother deploying their routers because of problematic things. If I had to guess, and Riley has better statistics for me, that you would probably find that the majority of his hosting is for switches and access points and less for the USG. So I'm not saying that number is zero, but proportionately, I bet Riley has substantially more switches and access points, not because of the ratio, but just the sites, I should say, for each site that the head end of that site is probably not a UniFi piece of routing equipment. It's less likely. Don't know why they don't like you and invite you speak so highly of the UDM Pro. Ah, yes. This is also why they don't send Tom hardware. They haven't sent me hardware since I said a couple of their products I just thought sucked. And I'm very vocal. And I think a company doesn't like sending you products if you say their products suck. Maybe I'm breathing too much into it, but they went from sending me emails and products to dead air. If it's unencrypted, wouldn't the history only live on the end device? When you get a new device, it's clean. Pretty much that's how that works with Signal. That's one of the reasons there's no history, but there's ways, I think, to take the history file. I don't know. I don't ever care because I don't, when I load it up on a new device, I'm indifferent to the history of the messages. JSON config isn't officially supported by Wiki, so it can break into future updates. When JSON config gets messed up, you can cause reboot loops as well. Yeah, this is why the business people, you got to remember from the business standpoint, if we're managing a bunch of sites, I don't want to have to go out to those sites because of a JSON file having one misconfig and goes in reboot loop. You want things to be stable and secure, and hacking away at JSON files is not the path to security. It's why we don't use the UniFi routing equipment. We use their switches, we use their access points. Is Signal a viable alternative to Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp? That depends. And it depends on whether or not you can get adoption from your friends on it. I love Signal. I have a lot of my friends using it. There's a few exceptions, though, that don't. And they like to use Facebook, and that's just how they are. So it depends on how much things if you can get people to move over. Secondary, it's not going to be as full featured as WhatsApp. It's not going to be as full featured as Facebook Messenger, but it's going to be private, and those companies will not be able to see the messages you send. So yes. What do you think of Next DNS? Don't know, don't use it. I don't have a reason to use it. I don't have a reason not to use it. But more importantly, because I don't have a reason to use it, I don't plan to review it. People seem to like it, and it seems to be popular among home users who ask me that question, but I don't have any reason to use the product. So MSP here in the UK, exactly. We only use UniFi switches and wireless access points. WatchGuard and FortiGate sit on the edge. Yeah, lots of people are not using that. We should pull stats of sites versus sites that have USG and know it's used for much business. Riley, I would love and certainly retweet that stat. So, and Riley's really fast. I expect this Twitter post to happen soon. So how many sites you manage, individual sites, and how many of those sites have a USG and how many don't? That would just be a fun ratio. Maybe a little pie chart. Because I feel we should probably start a betting pool. We'll start some enthusiasm around this. Let's get the betting pool going. You can tweet Riley Chase or HostiFi on this. And it's a good discussion because I'm curious now what that number is and what that percentage is. So does anyone still use Threema? People seem to ask about it. I know 0 people using it outside of comments on YouTube. So I don't know anything wrong with Threema, but I don't know anyone using it. So, and I don't plan to use it. So Element versus Signal, very different products. Signal can import and export messages. Okay, I thought there might be a way to do it. So you got it. We'll tweet it. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun discussion. I'm looking forward to the Twitter engagement. And of course, Riley will then take it and this turns into, why not do a whole blog posts or something? I don't know. But this will be a good discussion in the Facebook forums as well for how many people are using it. And I mean, Riley has a big enough sample size to make for some interesting analytics here. Ooh, some people thinking it's going to be 12% that are actually using the USG. 500 to 1 ratio, maybe. I don't use Signal because I don't have friends who use Signal, and it's far easier to find someone that has access to SMS. I use UDM for some customers. Small customer works great for what they need. Maybe the only one here who likes UDMs. I don't know. enough people like them that they buy them. I mean, I've seen them as a solution. They're not, if you just need routing, they seem to work for that. So, if that's what your goal is. Any plans to do anything about IPv6? No. I like to tell this story because and I didn't even see, because I didn't have a chance to go since most of the lockdowns. But there's a local, I think it's called the Michigan Users Group. It's a computer group. And for years and years, every year in January, I think it was, they did the year of IPv6, and then years and years later, they kept doing it. I'll make a video about IPv6 when IPv6 is necessary. So it's not necessary right now, so not going to do it. Do you think pfSense will ever get the 48 Cisco ASA? I don't know what exactly you're asking. That's a very generic question. I like pfSense over Cisco, but I guess it depends on what feature you're looking for. So it's hard to say. It's hard to answer that question without the specifics of it. Lots of people use Telegram. The problem with Telegram is it is not encrypted by default. And if you leave something at default, users will leave it at default. I know the tech-savvy audience watching this show right now is among the people who change the defaults. But we know the common people of technology that just want to use it. I don't blame them. They're just going to pick it up and use it. They're going to end up with unencrypted messages, and that's not, to me, a good thing. So yeah, Telegram, I don't use it. I set up an account on it as a placeholder, but I don't use it. I only use Signal with my wife. WhatsApp is very popular here in Mexico. Okay. Are those stats going to be skewed by people using UDM for Protect? I don't know. I don't think so. And you can't host a UDM in HostiFi, so because UDM has to host itself. Not sure about IPv6, but 2020 was the year of IPv4. Yeah. Do you have any guys on Wireshark? Search my channel for Wireshark. You'll find a few videos on Wireshark. Yeah, Telegram. Telegram's popular in the UK, and Signal's becoming more popular in Ukraine. I said UK, I meant Ukraine. Telegram's not exactly. I mean, they are loosely a Russian company. The history of Telegram is a lot more complicated than they're Russian. The guy, and his name eludes me, but you can look it up. The founder of Telegram was a Russian billionaire, but I believe, and I don't know the details of this, I think somehow he's in exile. So there's a lot of details in there. What backup solutions are using MSP? I don't think any reviews from your side. There are reviews. We were using Enable. We've also done a few projects using MSP 360. Currently, the one we're using for our MSP directly for things we manage is Ninja Backup, which is part of the Ninja RMM, which I covered in my Ninja RMM review. Yeah. UDM wants to be the full deal. That is correct. Yes. Pavel Durov. That sounds like the right name. I'm not going to look it up, but anyone with Google can look up the Telegram founder. There's a whole Wikipedia entry in there. I just never dove into the details. So pfSense sends Telegram notifications. Yes, there isn't. I've never used it, but there is an integration for Telegram notifications in pfSense. Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't use Telegram. I'm just saying it's not encrypted by default, but has the option to encrypt. There's also Telegram was just designed very odd. We'll pull this one of my favorite quotes about Telegram up. if you look, let's see. I got to find his, I'll find his post real quick. And if you want, just, I'll share this tab. If you go to, here we go. Bruce Schneider's got a few articles on it and talking about the things about Telegram and some of the encryption. He had something, it was about the way they implemented. They did a more confusing way of doing it. Yeah, this was one of those things, and I'll zoom in. This is, I don't know if this has been fixed. These were some of the other problems with Telegram. This is from about a year ago. There was a lot of little things that were kind of, Telegram just is a little bit more extensive. People have told me they like it because it has more features. That's fine. I like privacy first when it comes to communications, and that's why I'm such a big fan of using Signal. I trust in its privacy and things like that. Because you follow me on LinkedIn. Yeah. Encrypted Telegram. Sounds like a lot of work. I just use Signal. That's a lot of work to go through to encrypt Telegram, using encrypted Telegram the old-fashioned way with encoder rings and send an actual courier with a telegram to my friend. I mean, hey, whatever works. There's PGP. You could just, try to get people to use that. PGP is good, except... do you have a video for multi one-to-one public IP NATs, private, one WAN, one LAN, 5 public IPs, and I can't figure it out? I never use that scenario. We set it up for people who always have some crazy idea. I don't know why you would do it that way. There's a write-up inside of Netgate of routing public IPs. I just don't do it this way. pfSense is a firewall. If I'm going to have pfSense handle the public IPs, I'm going to NAT to the things behind it. And then if I need some type of one-to-one outbound, then you just outbound the NAT on there. But that's rare. That's just usually not needed. So usually you just assign those extra public IPs to the WAN and then port forward all the things you need port forwarded. If you want all the public IPs to pass through pfSense, why have pfSense in the mix? That's my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. Lots of people seem to ask for it. They always just don't want to have pfSense and deal with NAT. I don't know why. Because if you don't want pfSense, you don't want NAT, just don't use pfSense. Like I said, maybe I'm weird. Oh. Ninja RMM sales guys are a bit on the aggressive. Look, the way you grow a company, and it's unfortunate, you get a few of the bro dudes, and they're the ones who are selling stuff. I don't know. That's just how it works. And it's not a ninja problem. It's all of them. You do everything you can, but if you want to get the sales, you want to get those numbers up, you're going to end up with a few of those people. We use the Acronis cloning product, but I don't use the Acronis backup. I know people that said they like it. I don't know anything wrong with it. I just don't use it. You're impressed that they managed to track down your work phone number. Hey, open source intelligence is fun. There's all kinds of fun things you can find with open source intelligence. Track down people's home addresses and home phone numbers and cell phones and all kinds of things. The footprint you leave on the internet is often big. Any recommendations for good network capacity planning tools? What are you planning? That's not exactly an easy question to answer, because what it is, you know, what's the plan? You plan to have everybody moving data at 10 gig or 1 gig or half a gig? What tools are they using? You just have to get a calculator. A spreadsheet is a great network capacity tool. You have to calculate all the different data rates, what people are doing, how much data they're using, and that's the capacity planning. So a spreadsheet is probably a great tool for that. I'm not sure what you need outside of that. I've not used Acronis as a cloud backup tool, but they've been working on a local backup. I was thinking of trying their hardened storage repository soon. Yeah, like, people seem to like their products. I don't hear people hating them. We use the Ninja backup because it's integrated within Ninja, and when you're not using third parties, you're using one tool with everything in it. It makes life a little bit simpler. All right. Oh, yes, I seen someone said the Netgate forums. Don't underestimate a good forum post to help with that. So that's just put together a good forum post. The same someone who's done this a bunch of times. I'm not going to call them out by name. I don't want to give them the attention. They keep tagging. They started by messaging me and tagging my Facebook. I think I blocked them there. And now they keep tagging me randomly. Basically, this person doesn't like taking advice, doesn't like reading the manual, just sets things up and says they don't work. And and then they always go to tagging me on Twitter. Tom, you said this product or this thing don't work. And I'm like, that's what you say about everything, is I want to reply to them all the time. And I say, use forums. And yeah. Did you move away from ConnectWise? Nope, we still use ConnectWise Control. It's the only ConnectWise product we use, which technically we became a ConnectWise customer because ConnectWise bought Screen Connect. So we've been a Screen Connect customer for, 8+ years. And because ConnectWise bought Screen Connect and rebranded it as ConnectWise Control, we became a ConnectWise customer. But that's the only tool we use from ConnectWise right now. Hey, Tom, just want to say glad I came across your channel last year studying IT at Oakland, and you're a giant help learning more about the IT world. It's nice to see some local. So, yes, awesome. For those of you, the geography here, I am in Wayne County, and Oakland County is 20, 30 miles north of here, from where I'm at. So, awesome. MSP 360 seems a little better for Acronis for pure cloud backup offsite tool. Veeam or Acronis backup relies on having some kind of local storage and primary storage, cloud second. Yeah, and MSP 360 supports both. You can do local backups and cloud and remote. MSP 360 is also interesting because they support a handful of different backends for storage, so you can choose different targets. Do you do UniFi controllers to manage clients remotely? Yes, we do. In what scenarios are you deploying Untangle? When people really want the firewall to do the filtering, the application filtering, the filtering for websites and things like that. If that's something like a requirement to do that on a firewall level, then Untangle is what we'll push. It's a nice firewall. It works great. We're a authorized partner with Untangle, and we've been using it for a while. I throw in a review about once a year. No one seems to care. I've done a few videos on Tangle. They never get many views. People go, and PF Sense gets the more popular. So I don't think anyone wants to watch Untangle videos. And most of the stuff on Untangle is pretty automated. So it's not, the review I did a year ago, even with they went from version of 15 to 16 in the last maybe year and a half, it's not substantially different. So there's not been a big incentive for me to do it. And there's certainly not much of a demand of people asking about it. So, but then Untangle does make a nice product. Like I said, we're still using it. We deploy more PF Sense than Untangle, but Untangle's work. They've been reliable. They're good. The licensing is what gets people, up in a roar. Hey, I think you nailed where we use Untangle. Would Untangle be good for a school? Yes. Some of the schools, because filtering is like this huge deal. The kids can't possibly look at something terrible on the internet. We have to have a firewall to restrict the kids from going anywhere. So yeah, school is actually a popular use case for it, because the schools are among those people, because they don't always have the desire or whatnot to load a tool on the workstation. And that's how we resolve the problem, is by having a tool on the workstation for most of our clients. Because people say, but you have to have web filtering, Tom. Of course you do. You need to be able to track all that, but you can load tools on the endpoints to do it instead of at the firewall level. And you actually end up with more granular and better reporting and control. And it especially is good with so many people doing the work from home, because now when they leave, and we have people do this, they wander back and forth in and out of the office with their laptops in different locations. You protect the endpoint. That's where all the bad things are happening. So, yep, you guys nailed it on some of those. What else is my list of things to talk about? We talked about projects. We talked about Signal. We're down to the Errata and Q&A. And do I have any other project videos to share? Or videos I've done about the project? Ooh, man, I gotta, it's funny because, let me find one of these here. Seeing what might be a good project video to share. Well, I can share this photo right here, so we'll go ahead and throw this in there just to talk more about this other project. So this is the one that I was at filming today, and it's just going to be interesting because this is just all that conduit, how we mounted it all, and everything else. This is getting changed up a little more, but this has been interesting because a lot of these brackets are there. There's another set of things on them, so we're having to put more and more stuff up, and there's a series of hangers that are going in there. These were re-anchored in. This is going to be kind of a fun project to talk about, because when you're dealing with an old building like this, I got to look up just how old this place is, but it's a pretty old place. And so there's a lot of interesting things you have to deal with when doing that to secure all the things to this stadium that we're working on. So that's something to be interesting. I thought I had more footage. Oh, I do, but I just don't have it available to show right now. This one's really not about drops. It's about these. So, there we go. So let me share this. So it's not the drops. It's XLR. It's RJ45. And it's all about the media. That's what Brett Chittum is in here. And the fiber is at the top here. So let me flip it over. I think I got a picture of the back. There's the field. There's the backside. So a closer look at all this. These are little fiber caps that are on here. This is all for transporting media from the control room, which is the booth, the broadcast booth at the top, to feed all the cameras. So this is all going in at a stadium. So it's not exactly about drops. It's just about having all of these connected in a way down there where they can all be distributed. So yeah, it's definitely really cool how that's going to go in. So it's however many of these are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 fiber, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 XLR and 8 RJ45s. So 8 by 8. And how many XLR drops have you run? That's a weird one, right? That's not something you hear about all the time. Running XLR drops. Are you using Intune? Do you think Microsoft will kill the RMM business? No, they will not kill the RMM business. Not anytime soon. Microsoft's ability to screw things up is amazing. They are also a company, and Steve Gibson had a great rant about it on the last episode of Security Now. Microsoft has absolutely had, and Paul Thurrott said this too, they were talking, this was a good discussion over on the Twit Podcast Network, that Microsoft has absolutely no problems with just lying to their customers about Windows 11. Microsoft has changed over the years certain functionality of Intune. Microsoft is just not, marketing over quality. They chose, for example, and Microsoft has the resources to properly fix things, but in certain areas they choose not to. They're just eroding their brand trust, and I don't think that companies are trying to get more Microsoft. By the time Microsoft gets Intune as a more and more viable product, I think more and more people are going to be moving away from locking themselves into desktop operating systems. I don't think that's where the future is going. I think we're going to see more diversity come up, and where people are more pushing for web applications. But the long tail of legacy says, yeah, it'll be here a while for using desktop apps. But I don't think there's enough confidence in the market that Microsoft will get it right. They're good. They're so good at getting some things wrong unless they can super monetize it. And even then, it's a maybe. SDI over fiber. Yeah, this is some SDI stuff too. Are there any easy ways to wire a house for security? Or is it always just a mess? Always just a mess. That's the best way I can describe it. And, I didn't finish. I should do a video on this still. I forgot I did it until you just said something. Let's go backwards. That's like a good video title too. Is it always just a mess when you are wiring a house? Let me see. Here we go. And we'll switch to this. The answer is yes. Here's Tom ripping down the soffit on his house because trying to get these cameras installed. There's Steve saying hi, crawling around in my attic. There's me. And I have a house with a huge attic that has accessibility built in. And it's just, yes, it's not fun. So, yes, it's always just a big lot of work, pain in the butt to do all this. Yeah, there's me. There's my house, and there's us wiring cameras up and things like that. So it's never good. I don't know if I have any other real photos of it. No, I don't. Actually, for those wondering, this photo is interesting to me because I'm sitting right here, roughly, just in front of where the camera is actually right where the vacuum is. This was my studio before I built it. This was just a couple months ago. So that's interesting. All right, remove. So yeah, it's always a big mess. Don't forget, Steve Gibson was using Windows 7 past the drop dead date. Oh, I know, but he's very open about what he was doing, how he was doing it. That's not really a question. It's the problem that Microsoft has made claims, and especially related to Windows 11, that certain functionality won't work, but it will. Nothing they do requires that TPM2. Matter of fact, Microsoft has already changed and rolled back some of the requirements for Windows 11. I don't know why Microsoft just doesn't come clean and be honest with it. I agree with what Steve Gibson said a lot. Just be honest. We're fine if you say it's an arbitrary requirement that we want to require. Okay, but own it. Own it. Be honest. That's what people are asking for. And also be honest about Exchange. When those security researchers disclosed, I think it's called the Hafnium hack that has devastated a lot of businesses that use Exchange Server, Microsoft should have been honest. We got your security report. We don't care. We want to push people to the cloud. So we don't want to fix Exchange until absolutely people get hacked, because we won't lose them as a customer. So we're not going to fix it. And Microsoft chose to ignore, not fix, and let this attacks keep occurring to people and no end in sight, and catch them off guard with a bunch of hacks on Exchange for these large enterprise businesses using Exchange, and simply not offer a patch for it until the public outcry was so bad they go, guess we got to fix it. But you guys could just move to our cloud and we don't have to fix it. So, that's Microsoft's attitude on things. It's just terrible. Newcomer experience has likely put bad taste in most Microsoft partners' mouth. Intune, M365 Premium, Lighthouse, all maybe many things run away from. Young companies, new startups don't run out and buy Microsoft. They go to Office 365. So, the most easy way to wire a house is to have someone younger than you get in the attic. Marcus, you want to go in the attic?
Sure.
And wire some more security cameras? My son has wandered in here.
Yeah.
Look down at the camera and say hi.
Hello.
There he is. My kid can just wander in here now because it's a live stream and I'm doing it from home. Been watching your videos for years, before 50K. Congrats on your sex. Been in telecom for 7 years. Started thinking about building a business doing your line of work. Any tips? Just do it. Getting the customers is the hard part. So
just do it.
It's the getting the customers is the hardest part of any of these. I've had a lot of technical friends that always talk to me about starting a business, and I don't ask them about their technical skill. I know they have it. It starts with, how are you going to get the customers? And they go, it's like, are you willing to sit and smile and dial and call? And we're an established business with lots of customers, and we still call people, do all the things, follow up, reach out, engage with customers. And you have to, someone said, talking about aggressive salespeople, Brett behaves a little bit, not really aggressively, but hey, he calls. He's like, hey, about that quote I gave you last week. How's it looking? You want to talk about it? Want to have coffee? You want to get together and discuss this quote we gave you last week? Those are things you have to do. If you're not willing to do it, you're like, oh no, people will buy from me because I'm good. If you have a niche in-demand product that nobody else sells and you're the only one with it, cool. You can probably get away with it. If you're trying to do something commoditized, it's a lot harder. So make sure you have a plan around marketing and sales. Microsoft, I have too many M365 migration in the queue because of all that crap. Yeah. Windows may have a future kernel and a change to lab requires a TPM and memory protection CPU stuff we have not seen yet. I doubt. So, and why not release that in a roadmap? Why not be honest? How hard could it possibly be? Are they just too, secretive about their roadmap? Oh no, someone may make a competing operating system if we had a roadmap that told people what was going to happen. Do you think that's what would happen with Microsoft? Someone would know their secret plans to dominate the OS market. They have a 98% desktop share or something like that. They're in the 90% anyways for desktop market, and even higher if you just focus on the business market. So I don't think it's a secret. I think they don't know. So they're smashing things out there like that. I don't know. I have no idea. Ever connect to Active Directory over zero tier? Never tried. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Might work. Hey, glad I could help you, Colton. Hopefully it makes sense. Yeah, you have to plan ahead to have a roadmap. Yeah, it's nice when you try to use their modern security API for IIS and CA server and it just crashes everything. They've certainly botched up a few security things. I mean, the printer support, that was broken by design for what, like a year? So, I mean, come on. They make it really hard. They're the reason that there's so much stress in cybersecurity work is trying to solve all the Microsoft problems. Why is their patch management so garbage? How does Linux handle it so much better? That's a real solid question here. So I don't know. So back to the original question that started doing on kind of a tangent was, do I think Intune will replace RMM? Not anytime soon. Roadmaps do get to close. You sign NDA and have early adopter and share experience of software. And Microsoft did not bake printing. They created a business case for Azure Universal Print feature that charges you per print job. Yeah. So they break things for upsell. My son's down here because he wants me to buy him a game. So no, I cannot get him into networking. I'm positive that what he really wanted to do was ask me to buy something that's on sale because I've been getting messages on my phone about something on sale from my son. So then he's downstairs who knows I'm on a live stream because he wants me to buy him a game. So no, I can't get him into networking. Maybe I should pre-define a network puzzle for him, and at the end of the puzzle, he gets to buy the game. That would be an idea. To me, the problem with MS is just technical debt. You know, it's really interesting. One of the things that is you see, as I said, younger companies, but a lot of small businesses, more and more of them are moving to things like Google Drive because it's so difficult and expensive to manage a Microsoft network. I mean, do we have things my company does to protect those networks? Yeah, they come at an expense. But you look at we have some companies and, you know, I don't know, look at Huntress. We use them as an example. They have a few hundred employees and they're a company doing they do cybersecurity work, obviously, but they're using G Suite, by the way. And when you look at these large companies and going, they figured it out. And a lot of small businesses are doing the same thing. And the reason why is they just pay a fee to the G Suite, all the apps and everything, as long as they keep their account secure with solid 2FA or even something like a YubiKey or whatever, which my YubiKey was my extra one. My demo key is right here. Set up an account, set up a solid 2FA. You don't see a bunch of G Suites getting ransomware because it's a different scenario. Google does a pretty good job and they don't need any desktop apps. Matter of fact, some of our clients have just tablets and things like that. We got a couple companies, they're pretty big and they're using G Suite. It's impressive how they've integrated all it into their workflows and just everything's like a tablet and on their phone and there's no servers, there's no on-prem. We just managed to make sure the network stays up and running because that's where all their data is in the cloud. They're not dealing with patch management. They're not dealing with a bunch of Windows servers and domain problems. And by the way, they're using a lot of the single sign-on with Google for their other applications. So Google becomes a single place of authentication for the other things they tie in that run their line of business. Marcus is not getting a Steam Deck. That is not things that Dad's buying right now. No, cloud desktops are being sold by people that would love to get you on a subscription. That's why cloud desktops are all the rage. Just ask any salesperson selling them. They'll tell you they're the best thing ever. It's the only time I see a good use case is always being pitched to me by someone selling it, not by the people that go, wait a minute, computers are cheap. I'm not saying there's no use case for it, but honestly, if you're going to look, you'll see a lot more companies today. And this is where older companies have their older line of business applications that run on Windows. More modern companies go, why didn't, if we're going to do application and we're looking at what's going to run our business, they go, do we want this bloated program that we load on a Windows computer that decides randomly to update and get stuck? Or do I use a cloud application so the computer becomes a tool to use where I open up my browser to get to my line of business application, but I can just use another computer if this one breaks. It's not a big deal. My cloud application's over here. So yes. Yeah, cloud is good until you have internet backbone failure and undersea cables get cut. It doesn't happen that often. Oh, look, it's my son. He went upstairs and now he joined the live stream here. Going back to the cloud really feels like we're going back. I don't think so at all. It's better for the masses. And it's we, the people who join a live stream on a technical channel, are the technical people. We're not the people who are going, hey, all in cloud. But for the average users, yes, I would say cloud is probably a better solution. This is actually really, and there's a couple things driving this. Many IT departments have more outages in the cloud. Actually, the big problem is many IT departments are understaffed and overwhelmed, and they can't find enough skill to fill those positions. So they almost end up forcing some of these things into the cloud because there's not anywhere else to do it, because there's not anyone local to do it. And man, we've seen a lot of companies that should have went to the cloud because they don't have the resources. They had one dude, and it's always some guy with a really long beard and suspenders, I swear, every time, that knows how the database server works and just holds on to his HPUX system that's been running since 2002 and never needed a reboot. And I'm like, it's not been patched either. So yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. And it's going to force more things to be consolidated. It's a mix still, what does or doesn't get consolidated. So IT crowd. Yes, my son has watched the IT crowd with me at least. You know, we run a lot of stuff local. We have our own, I've talked about it many times. Our own virtualization stack where we have everything. So I'm a big fan of having everything in here. Matter of fact, let's change to specifically the Ryzen pool. Stuff I was messing with here. You know, I like running all my own virtualization, having everything, and we set this up for clients. It's not like it's everything gets outsourced to the cloud, but you know, it's stuff. It's a mix of both now. It just kind of depends on the scenario. It's not for everyone. It's about for who needs a system like this or who doesn't need a system like this. One of the things I like is the fact that you can build a hell of an open source stack with like XCP-ng and Zen Orchestra and orchestrate a really awesome environment for managing a whole series of virtual machines and run all kinds of internal applications like that. Matter of fact, XCP-ng is all web-based. So it runs web-based, and then we use all of our tools. Pretty much everything internally that we use are web-based applications. We self-host them instead of in the cloud, but having them all web-based like that means I could migrate them somewhere else easily. I could migrate them to the cloud easily and keep them behind, you know, we have it behind a VPN, but we could put a VPN to the cloud and some instance somewhere to keep it all behind there if we wanted to. Having everything web-based makes it flexible, even if that web-base is, especially if that web-base, I should say, is hosted locally. Yes, definitely needs updates. They just released the, I'm going to be doing a video on this over the weekend. They just released the new XCPNG and Zen Orchestra. So let's go ahead and pull that up. For those of you curious, new features. Zen Orchestra Blog. So this just got released, and they're all kinds of fun new stuff. This is going to be a really cool thing. This is XO Lite. They're getting closer to having this done. So yes, this is part of it. They have a new API system they're offering. There's a lot of cool stuff coming in here. I thought this one was kind of a cool feature. SR creation improvements. When creating local storage repository formats such as exe or LVM, the operation includes formatting the disk on which you're creating SR to avoid unpleasant surprises. Those who are not familiar with these types of storage, we've added confirmation boxes. This is actually an interesting thing, and it's because they've had so many new users on there. They want to make sure that people are implicitly understanding what they're formatting when they set these up. So I'm happy to see this feature coming in there. Health View coalescing VDIs. This is a nice feature for the Health View. Delta backup, select targets. This is actually kind of cool. When you have a multiple VDIs you're backing up, you can do multiple target destinations now. So yeah, there's so many. I almost want to just start over and do an entirety video instead of an update video for all the cool features that are there. And of course, then we lead to this right here, and this is the other blog post, because now we're 8.21. This is why my system needs updates. Just got released the other day. I didn't patch it yet, and it's on my to-do list to do so. But some more enhancements, more updated device drivers. So QLogic, Intel iXGB, Intel IC, QLogic Nextstream, log rotation file updates, guest template for Windows Server 2022. So lots of great stuff. I'm excited. Always more fun things coming. That team is just great at delivering. Nope, I don't do anything with OpenStack. Does exe deduplication? No, I don't think so. I don't know where you would use deduplication inside of there. Good to hear from you, Grayson. Even though you're late, you're chiming in because you're still working on BGP. Keep learning that BGP. We need more people that know BGP. That's for sure. Sorry, a little bit tired. I woke up early. And yes, my son, I see at least, did he message in here for pizza? I think so. I'm positive. I seen pizza come up somewhere. Was it a message on my phone? My son undoubtedly wants pizza because that's what he always wants. No, you don't do the deduplication. It's not ideal to do the deduplication with your Zen server. You would do that on the storage target itself. That's where you want the deduplication to be done. So, nah, pizza's great. SANs are dead. Long live software defined storage. Until you need really high performance storage and you can't afford a SAN that's high performance as a standard storage. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to that. I plan to I'm going to be meeting with some of the 45 drives people soon and talking about it. I mean, it's not the end all solution, everything, just to start adding more complexity layers to your thing. Like, hold on, let's build this TrueNAS scale system and slap Gluster on top of it because that'll magically solve all of our storage needs. Oh, wait, we just made a more complicated system that wasn't needed to be more complicated. Or maybe it was. It's great to have when there's a need, but some people want to overcomplicate before there's a need to do it. So you have to decide how to do that. Yeah, this is why you don't want to dedupe. So Mike here is mentioning dedupe would be in the back end, but likely to have the disable encryption and compression for backups. And ideally, you're encrypting, or even you just don't want to do the deduplication side on there. You're asking a lot of the server to try to figure out if those files are duplicated. What's better is doing things just like do a series of delta backups, and that way you're only doing change level backups at the VM level, and they're much smaller. That's actually a better way to handle that. And if you want to set up deduplication on your NAS, then go set up deduplication on your NAS. Matter of fact, this is an easy example of this. Here's how quick it is. 23 seconds for these Delta backups to run. So you can tell this runs every couple hours. It makes a Delta backup. 676 megs, 23 seconds. So I'm not transferring much data. This full VM, I have a snapshot of it, and it's this much data based on the changes it had in there. So 23 seconds, 23 seconds, 23 seconds. So these take longer. These are some of the full larger backups. It takes a few hours. On Graylog is just disk intensive, and backing up Graylog because it's running and writing and running and writing, it takes a while. So hopefully that makes a little bit more sense on that. Let's see. Dedupe on vSAN causes a disk failure, take out an entire disk group. Yeah. That's very different products we're talking about. So yeah, dedupe sort of VMware before encryption. A cost-optimized hypervisor solution. Well, VMware is not your cost-optimized. Maybe VMware is expensive. So I don't know. I'm a bigger fan of XCP-NG and Zen Orchestra. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that's good. All right, rapid fire. Any more questions before I wind this down and get pizza for my son? Yeah, cost of VMware not optimized. We've moved a lot of people away from VMware over to XCP-NG. More people we've moved actually from Microsoft's hypervisor. There's no love. People who have used it in large scale seem to hate Hyper-V. And there are people that have spent real money on stuff. One of our clients, I mean, they have a full 100 gig interconnects. They have I think they spent like, $40,000, 40 or 45,000 per server each node, and they are just done with Hyper-V. They bought all the support from Microsoft and were just truly disappointed with how terrible their support was that they paid a lot of money for. And they've actually found XCP-NG that they did buy support contracts for substantially smoother, better, and easier to get going and set up. What flavor pizza? I would go pineapple. My son would disagree. Yes, bash the like button. There's only 162 likes. That's actually still, no, 64 likes. I'm reading that wrong. So let's smash the like button before we leave. Buddy's Pizza is outstanding. They make a really good pizza for sure. Yep, it's not hard to move between these. It's actually generally, it's not hard to move between any of them. I've done a few videos about how to do things like that. Ooh, Canadian bacon is great. I do like some Canadian bacon. Pineapple, Canadian bacon. That just makes for a savory pizza. I know some people are, don't even like the thought of pineapple on pizza, but I don't want. Have you tried Cannon pizza? I don't know what that is. There is a pizza place called Curry on the Crust, and it is a Indian style pizza. That's really good too. Also in Dearborn, that's not what they're called. They're usually called like meat pies, but they make some variations of the meat pies. It's got some other name in Arabic that I don't know. But they're like a pizza, and those are really good too. But Curry on the Crust, the Indian pizzas, oh, those are super good. They're a local chain here. Canadian maple flavor bacon. Yep. I don't know about on pizza, but Canadian maple bacon, that's a good combination of things. Okay. Canada American pizza. Can-Am. All right. Do you either like pineapple on pizza or you're wrong? Yeah, I see. Marcus does like spicy things, but not near as much as I do. He eats a lot of it though. Pepperoni, pineapple, jalapeno. Look, people don't realize this. Jalapenos are fruit. So I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. Back to very beginning of the show. Tom's not a biology expert. So, but pineapple, pepperoni, I'd eat that. Actually, I'm trying to decide right now what I want to eat because I don't know if I want to eat pizza or not. You can, dude, it's not a hard segue. I believe the tech community loves pizza. I think a lot of people love pizza. So the tech community is among the people who love pizza. I don't think there's any. Pizza is pretty universally loved. The only place that maybe there's less love for pizza, but this is not the same as the tech community, would be the health food and running community. People who are really into athletics are probably thinking maybe not eating as much pizza. Although I do know a few people who their athletic prowess and training coincides with their doing it so they can eat more things like pizza. So yes, IT and drinking coffee. Is it possible to get kebabs? Yes. So, couple things is if you didn't know this, Hamtramck, Michigan, and Dearborn, Michigan, are really densely populated with Middle Eastern population. So when you go to Dearborn, Michigan, and you can look a lot of this up, you'll find a rich number of Middle Eastern food places, which is wonderful. Matter of fact, I was in Hamtramck today and I stopped by a Middle Eastern store to pick up some good feta cheese and olives and fattoush, some fattoush stuff for my staff. So I brought all that after I was down in Hamtramck. I brought all that to them. So yeah, absolutely. Shawarmas, and yes, I have hummus in my fridge, and because I had for lunch with another MSP that I met today, met with a friend of mine, local MSP, and we ate at a local Arabic restaurant. So yeah, I eat a lot of Middle Eastern food. Turkey style kebabs, Turkish or Turkey, shawarma like, yes. Ah, yes. Thin crust pizza is the ultimate food for Unix admins. They are easy to slide under the door. Yes, we don't want to interact with people. Just please slide the food under the door. But me and my staff at the office, we're huge lovers of Middle Eastern food. So definitely something we prefer. Turkish. Yeah, see, that's a weird for us, like I like Turkish coffee or something like that. I know what you're saying. But Turkey is a bird to us and a country somewhere else. So yeah, there can be some confusion if you wanted to eat some turkey or you wanted to eat something that was Turkish. So oh, it's good, but you smell yes, you definitely smell like garlic. No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, Michigan and Detroit, just wild selection of foods and things like that. We have a big, diverse ecosystem here. No, I thought I had a picture of some of the. Nope. All right, I'll figure that out later. I thought I had a picture of some of the restaurants in here. Do I have any from Dearborn? Thought I had some of the Middle Eastern places in here. Nope, maybe not. Thought I did. That's all right. Actually, I have no idea what that is. That doesn't even look Middle Eastern. I don't know what that is. Let's see if I had some pictures from at the restaurants there. No worries. All right. Let's see. You say, you should try tabbouleh with fatouche. They are two of the most famous. Yes. I also like kibbe. I've even had raw kibbe, and I've had the football kibbe. I don't know why it's to me. It's to me not understanding dialect. I know those are two different things. The kibbe, I know they're pronounced different, but I hear them as the same word. I like both of them though. One is a raw meat. One looks like a football. I always joke that they would be the perfect Super Bowl food. Yeah, languages is hard. Fiber and fiber, yes. Yeah, there's I don't always speak it perfectly well, but English is my primary language. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone for joining. Awesome having all of you here. Thank you for everyone who hit the like button before you left. And I will carry on and do more videos. I have more stuff in the queue, of course. I'm slowly getting my cadence back, learning the new editing software. So I've been trying to publish more videos. You may have noticed I published a few YouTube shorts. I'm trying to get more into creating when I don't have time to create long form content, maybe create some shorter form content to kind of keep the things rolling and stuff like that. So hopefully you like it. Let me know what you think of all that. And thanks. Awesome. Talk to everybody later.